Cue the music. Lights. We have lights now on Jacksonville's 5th best local coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars. This is Jaggin Out. Grab a drink if you got them. I have the natural light tonight, ladies and gentlemen, a staple, and grab a smoke if you got them. I got a Marlboro Red. It's been that kind of week, but we're still celebrating on Jacksonville's 5th best. Not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4. The 5th best, and that's for you Texans fans. We're still celebrating. We're the AFC South champs, dog. You can't take that away from us. AFC South champions. Fuck you Texans fans. This is Jaggin Out, your host, Sean Fitzpatrick, on Jacksonville's 5th best, the poorest by far YouTube channel. Like I say to all my viewers, I don't know a lot about football, but this is going to be entertaining stuff. Grab a beer if you have it. Grab a smoke. It's been a rough week for me. Personally, ladies and gentlemen, I've been studying for a test. I'll get into this a little bit later, but I was in special ed until I was in the 6th grade, so studying is very difficult for this guy. Shout out to the dude that's been helping me. His name's Anthony. Even though he's an Eagles fan, he's still a good dude for helping me out. Eagles fans, you're all right in my book. Shout out to this other dude I work with that listens to me rant about BTJ. I hope you're watching this, bro, on Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. We're celebrating the AFC South. We're going to do I'm going to show you a little game footage. There goes my Siggy from last week's game. I was there at the Titans game with my beautiful wife. I was rolling deep. I had 2 hotties with me. I had my wife. I had my wife's friend with me. It was a good time. We were drinking, we were partying, we were watching the Jags win their AFC South championship. I'll show a little footage of these 2 hotties right here. Let's clip to it real quick. As we approach the stadium on YouTube's 5th best Jaguars, the stadium could only be outdone by the fine behinds on these 2 young ladies. Hold on, let's look at them. There we go. Both quality over quantity, they say. Quality over quantity. And this is Jaggin Out, Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. Hi, ladies.
Hello.
I just did a review of your behinds for my channel.
Nice. Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, hopefully we get some good reviews.
And we enter the stadium. Go Jags. Ooh, ball. Welcome back. Those were the 2 ladies I was rolling with. They are fine specimens in Jacksonville. My wife, of course, is the hottest girl in Jacksonville. Then it's probably Marissa Lawrence, and then it's probably this girl, Lindsay, in my video. She's Jacksonville's most eligible bachelorette. Brian Thomas Jr., if you are watching this video, I'm trying to get you out of my funk, man. I will hook you up with my wife's friend. She is a great person, nice to look at, not as hot as my wife, but pretty darn good looking. She can cook. I don't know that for a fact. She can clean. I don't know that for a fact. But she's a good conversationalist. So let's get you out of your snide, Brian Thomas Jr. But I digress. I'm getting way off track. This is Jaggin Out, home of Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. And I got a little slideshow for you. So we're going to go over a preview of the Bills game. If you don't know the format of Jaggin Out, here it is on the first slide. So we always start with 3 images, and we kind of build from there. So we'll do the 3-image preview of the Bills game. We'll go over the Jags versus Bills. We'll do our quarterback comparison where we compare the most important position in football, arguably, which is the quarterback, which we have Mr. Jacksonville Jesus or Steezy Lawrence. That's the new thing going around. I like Jacksonville Jesus. We have him versus Mr. Josh Allen. Josh Allen. Not Josh Hines Allen, the Josh Allen, the Buffalo Bills quarterback. We'll go over a game prediction. And then lastly, of course, we have my Buckman Bridge watch. So if you don't know what the Buckman Bridge is, it's a bridge that separates the nice side of Jacksonville, which I do not live in, to the poor side of Jacksonville, which I inhabit, which I probably will always inhabit, which I'll probably die here. I will die poor unless this YouTube channel takes off. So please like and subscribe. These videos take time to make. These slideshows are excellent, great informative material. And yeah, the Buckman Bridge watch, I basically indicate how likely I am to jump off the Buckman Bridge after a Jags game, which is going to be ramped up this week. We'll talk about that. So let's go on to the first slide. So what do all these images have in common? So we can see, starting at the left, I am not going to confirm or deny that this is my wife's behind, but that is a fine behind in teal joggers or teal yoga pants. Cheers to the Jags, AFC South champions. Natural Light, a very underrated beer, in my opinion. People talk it down. It tastes just like water, but it gets you drunk. Natural Light, if you're watching, please give me a sponsorship. I will drink the shit out of your stuff. There's only one thing I like more than beer and Natural Light, and that's booty. And that's here on the left right here. And I like my booty in teal pants, which my wife has. There's teal pants. Then the image to the right of that, you have a beer. I prefer Mickey's Malt Liquor or Natural Light. And then right here to the right, you have some buffalo wings. I love buffalo wings. And then right here, the last image you have right here is a Jaguars win. So you're probably thinking to yourself, Sean, what do all these images have in common? And what the hell does this have to do with the game on Sunday? Excuse me. That's the Natural Light burp. It happens. It's going to happen quite often in this video. But what do all these images have to do with the game on Sunday? I'm going to tell you. Ready? Let's flip over to the next slide. So I'm going to this playoff game, and I would love for all these images to happen on that day on Sunday, preferably in this order. So the first image you saw, this is a picture of my wife, and I don't know who that stooge is next to her. Yeah, I don't know how I pulled that. Probably because I am borderline handsome for an older gentleman. That's not it. Let's get that out of the way. I have a award-winning personality. Like I said, I was in special ed until 6th grade. And I did have a very bad speech impediment. So it's a wonder that I can do videos like this. And I was able to pull a smoking hot broad like my wife. So on Sunday, when this game takes place, the first thing that I would love to happen more than anything is I would love to see that teal booty and maybe get a little piece of it. I won't go into details, but we'll just leave it at that. I cannot confirm or deny, but I got rejected. Kind of like, I would say it was a reenactment of when Ric Flair fought Shawn Michaels in their final match. I'm Ric Flair. My wife is Shawn Michaels. I'm trying my best to win, or, I wouldn't say get in her pants, but I was trying my best to get a little some, and then I just got a sweet chin music right to the face and knocked me out. So that shows you how my night's going right now. But I digress. I'm getting way off track. But I would like that to happen first, and I would like some beer. Whether it's Mickey's Malt Liquor, whether it's Natural Light, I would like for that to happen. And then I'll do all those before the game starts. I might have a beer during the game. I don't like to get too twisted at these games. Hangovers are terrible. But then when the game starts, I would like the Jaguars to take the Buffalo Bills and theoretically turn them into buffalo wings or chicken wings, as you see in that picture right there, and I will eat them. Just like I will eat the souls and eat the tears of sadness from the Buffalo Bill fans that will surely be in attendance. I'm a little worried about dealing with those knuckleheads. I'm very respectful to every fans except Texans fans, who I've gone over in this channel. I don't want to say all Texans fans are bad. I take that back. They're terrible people. There's one dude I know that's a good dude that's a Texans fan, but in general, they're just large pieces of shit. They're very homophobic. I'm on an AFC South battleground board where all they do is say homophobic slurs. I can't get behind that. I don't care what your race is. I don't care what your sexuality is. I don't care what your religion is. I don't give a shit about any of that. Just be a decent human being. And as long as you're a Jaguars fan, we're cool. That's all I ask for. But I would like to eat some chicken wings or buffalo wings, and hopefully it's fried buffaloes. And then lastly, I would like to see a Jaguars win. I said in previous videos I would be upset if the Jaguars didn't get one playoff win, and I think I'll still stand behind that. I think this team is way better than the 2002 team that won one playoff game. This team is light years better. We're better, way better on offense. The defenses can hang in there with the best of them. We're in particularly good at the run game, which apparently the Buffalo Bills have the number one rushing offense. I don't give a shit. Our defense, Trayvon Walker, I wouldn't say he's a bum when it comes to pass rushing. He's average to above average. but he sure as hell is good in the run game. So good luck, James Cook. I don't even know their wide receivers on their team. And Josh Allen, he tends to scramble. Good luck with a motivated Trayvon Walker chasing you down. It could be a very long day for them. But I'll finish up with all these images. I really pray to God right now. Do a little Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Please, God, let all these images happen on Sunday. I don't ask for a lot, but please, let's just do a moment of silence for that. All right, that's good. So let's make it happen. All right, moving right on. Game preview. So my game preview, I like to talk about the quarterbacks a lot, but I've been hearing this all over the radio all week. I've been listening to this. Of course, the Jaguars get no respect. That's just who they are. We could be undefeated, and our quarterback could throw for 800 yard that's a bad example. Our quarterback could throw for like 80,000 yards and have 800 touchdowns. He could be perfect. His hair's already perfect, Trevor Lawrence, so that's impossible to get better than that. But we're still going to get hate by the national media just because no one likes Jacksonville for some reason. It's a great place to live, in my opinion. I moved here in 2018. This is the longest I've ever lived somewhere in my life. I moved around a lot as a kid. I'm not going to get into my life story because there's a lot of trauma with that, and I don't want to make everyone sad, but the Jaguars and Jacksonville are my home. I love this team. I love Jacksonville, but the national media just shits on us. We couldn't get a primetime game. Fine. I don't care. I like the 1 p.m. window. 2, we, of course, opened up at home as a 1.5 point underdog against the Bills, who they're a pretty damn good team. They have Josh Allen. He's the guy that's going to make or break this team. They have a good rushing offense, but their wide receivers are a bunch of legit bums. BTJ is basically a god, and he's been very average. If you put BTJ on the Bills, he would be a god for the Bills. Like, that's how average their receivers are. And everyone knows, and I try not to rip on BTJ, everyone knows my feelings about BTJ this year. He literally single-handedly tanked 3 of my fantasy football teams, especially in my keeper league where I chose to keep him over Jonathan Taylor. Not Jonathan Taylor Thomas, the Disney guy. Jonathan Taylor, the guy on the Colts. I chose to keep BTJ, Brian Thomas Jr., over him, and he sunk my fantasy team. I'm $300 down, and I'm hurting bad because of Brian Thomas Jr. There was a point during this year where I literally said some bad stuff about Brian Thomas Jr. I said that if his car was broken down in the side of Jacksonville or inside of the road in Jacksonville, that I wouldn't pick him up, even if there was a freak snowstorm outside. That was a little mean. I would pick you up, Brian Thomas Jr. Now, I wouldn't help him change the tire because surely if I handed him a tire iron or whatever the hell you need to change the tire or the bolts, to put back on the car, he would surely drop it because that's what he does. But I still love you, Brian Thomas Jr. And wrapping all this back around, he would be the best Bills wide receiver. They have a bunch of bums, and we have some pretty damn good cornerbacks, including Jarian Jones, including Antonio Johnson, who's a stud. He actually got recognized we didn't get any Pro Bowlers, but there was like PFA, Pro Football Association's best players, and he made the list on something for a safety position. Same with Devin Lloyd. He made the list too. Like, we have some legit players on defense, but because it's Jacksonville, we get slept on. And of course, we're getting no respect, and I like it that way. I hope Buffalo comes in this game confidently. We're playing with house money. The pressure is all on the Bills. All I'm hearing is this is the year that Patrick Mahomes, thank God that guy's not in it. I'm not a sick fuck, and I didn't wish an injury on Patrick Mahomes. I know a dude that did that, my best friend Shane. You're sick if you did that, but I'm sure as hell glad that Patrick Mahomes is out of the playoffs. No one likes the Chiefs. We're tired of them. Lamar Jackson, I hope he gets better, and I hope Patrick Mahomes gets better and comes back strong. He's not in the playoffs, and then Joe Burrow, he's always hurt, but those guys are always grouped together as the best quarterbacks in the NFL, and the national media seems to think that just because those guys aren't in the playoffs, the Bills just have a clear path and they're going to win the Super Bowl. These guys have to play on the road all the way up to the Super Bowl. Forget about Jacksonville. Even if they win in Jacksonville, which I hope doesn't happen, These dudes have to go on the road. And let me tell you how many road playoff games that Josh Allen has won. You ready for this? If you're watching this, close your eyes. What do you see? Nothing. Because he's never won a road playoff game. He's a great player, and he has great games on the road, but his team always loses. So I don't see it playing out any different today. I'll go over that later, but this is just a preview of what's to come. Let's compare these two dudes. We're getting no respect. Of course, Trevor Lawrence isn't going to get any respect either, but let's compare the two quarterbacks. So right here, this is a quarterback comparison. I actually pulled some stats up for this. I usually don't even get into stats, so you guys are lucky tonight. Maybe I'm just feeling good that the week's over and that I don't have to study for this test. I'm taking a test for my job. I'm not great at tests, and I was in special ed till 6th grade and had a really bad stuttering problem. So hats off to myself for even being able to compile stats and read these numbers. Apparently, too, I was extremely dyslexic, too. But I'm going to try my best to read these numbers for you guys because I care about you on Jacksonville's 5th best YouTube channel. Not 1st, not 2nd, not 3rd, not 4th. It's the 5th best. Fuck you, Texans fans. We're the AFC South champions. And I sure as hell hope you lose your game to the Pittsburgh Steelers. I hope Aaron Rodgers does some good ashwagandha or smelling salts or whatever. Maybe he'll... Where's my marble red at? Where'd it go? I don't know. I dropped my marble red. Wherever the hell that went. Maybe he'll have a few natural lights and pull out the old stuff, the old Aaron Rodgers. I just hope he shits down the Texans' throats. I hate those people. I'm sorry. I don't have a lot of dude friends, but if I met a new dude, that sounded a little suspect, but that's fine. I support the gay community 100%, which Texans fans don't. But if I met a new dude and we were like hitting it off as friends, earmuffs to my wife, if we were hitting it off as friends and we were like chilling, having some beers, some buffalo wings, whatever, and we were having a good time, coking and joking, and all of a sudden this dude just brought up that he was a Texans fan, I would tell him to leave my fucking house. I hate those people so much. I digress. This isn't a video about the Texans. This is a video about the Bills versus the Jags. But here's Trevor Lawrence here on the left. So Trevor Lawrence, actually, let's start with Mr. Josh Allen. So Mr. Josh Allen, this guy's universally in the top 5 quarterbacks. Everyone says this. It's usually the Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow. Those are your big heavy hitters. Matthew Stafford, he's having a hell of a year. They'll throw him in the top 5. And then Patrick Mahomes, he's maybe number 1. But those are your top 5 guys. The first 4, in particularly, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, and those guys are always going to be grouped as a part of the Big 5. And justifiably so. Josh Allen has been a very good quarterback. And let's look at his stats. Like, this dude has 3,668 yards passing. That's good for 11th in the NFL. That's nothing to, point your nose up at. He's a good quarterback. Then he has 25 TDs. That's tied for 9th in the NFL. And he has 10 interceptions, which this is a little bit misleading. It's tied for 23rd. 10 is not a lot of interceptions. This guy's not an interception machine. And his QBR, not passer rating. I like passer rating stat better, but his QBR is 64.7, which is tied for 7th. That's pretty damn good. And then he's a dynamic rusher too. This guy's a two-way player. And you can see his carries. He had 579 yards rushing, a 5.2 average. He had 14 rushing touchdowns, which is just crazy. And then a long of 40. Like I said, this team's primary attack is rushing. And hopefully we shut that down. But this guy's a pretty damn good quarterback. Now, over here to the left, this is the guy that everyone loves to hate. Probably because he has amazing hair and people have anointed him to be the next great quarterback, which took some time. But no one would believe that these are Trevor Lawrence's stats. If I went into a room of my coworkers and I even mentioned Trevor Lawrence, people don't give him any respect. They're going to say he's mid, he's average, he's a bust. Let's look at Trevor Lawrence's stats. And I'm not even a big stat guy. Watch him play. The dude can ball. But he has 4,000 yards passing, over 4,000 yards passing. That's good for 6th in the NFL. That's better than Josh Allen. He has 29 touchdown passes. That's good for 5th in the NFL. That's better than Josh Allen. He has 2 more interceptions than Josh Allen. It's about the same, and a slightly lower QBR, but relatively close. And then Trevor Lawrence is a dynamic runner too. He ran almost 40 times less than Josh Allen, but he still had 359 yards rushing, a 4.4 average, and 9 rushing touchdowns, which I believe 9 rushing touchdowns is good for second in the NFL among quarterbacks, with Josh Allen being first. So give this man some props. Like, this dude can ball. Like, he's been good. Let me cheers again. Get some more natural light in me. Whew. This guy's been good at football, like, since middle school. He's been a high school prospect everyone talked about. He led Clemson to a national championship. He was great in college, amazing in high school. In the NFL, it just took him some time, and this guy has not had the best situation around him. Any Jacksonville Jaguars fan can tell you that this franchise that I've spent a ton of my money on, I love to watch this team, but I've dumped a lot of money on this team. This franchise has made worse financial decisions than me, and that's fucking crazy to say, because I kept BTJ over Jonathan Taylor and lost $300 of my hard-earned money on fantasy because I had faith in Brian Thomas Jr. The financial decisions I make look like pennies and nothing compared to the shit that the Jaguars have done. Since Trevor Lawrence has been on this team, he's had like 3 different coaches, including an interim coach. He started out with this guy's a joke. He started out with Urban Meyer as his head coach, and that tenure lasted about 13 games. His rookie year, probably one of the hardest times for an NFL quarterback in adjusting to the league, the speed of the game, all that. He's trying to learn that while his head coach, Urban Meyer, was trying to like talk down and belittle people like they were college players. That was just like one thing he was doing. Another thing that he did was the classic, which ended up getting him fired, was they played the Cincinnati Bengals, and after the loss, instead of flying back with the team, Mr. Urban Meyer decided to stay in Ohio, didn't even board the aircraft with his own football team, and they got their asses kicked by the Bengals because they got their asses kicked a lot that year. And I'm sure Trevor Lawrence had a hell of a day because their offensive line was trash. Trevor Lawrence, I'm sure, was rocking a concussion and had to go home in a bubble bath. And Marissa Lawrence, his wife, had to give him a shoulder massage and tell him everything was going to be all right. And Trevor Lawrence probably just told her, I fucking hate my life, and this dude is making it worse. I'm talking about Urban Meyer. Urban Meyer didn't even have the balls to board the plane back home with the team. Instead, he said he was staying home to visit family, and he got caught out at his Ohio State bar grabbing ass with someone that wasn't his wife. That's what your head coach was doing. To top that off, a week later, our kicker at the time, which was Lambeau, I think his last name was, got physically kicked by our head coach during warmups. The head coach kicked the kicker. That's what Trevor Lawrence had to deal with year 1 in the NFL. A coach that was belittling his players, kicking the kicker, and then playing grab ass in Ohio at a bar, all while the team didn't win any games. Like, the shit that he was doing was crazy. And I guess he was belittling his staff too. I think he fired a couple people on his staff like a couple of games in because they weren't like down with his crazy regime that he had going on. So that's what he had to deal with year 1 with Urban Meyer. And then he got Doug Peterson in, which I have a lot of respect for Doug Peterson. He tried his damnedest, but his downfall was we had one of the most blandest offenses in the NFL. We were so predictable, and Doug Peterson refused to call the plays. He refused to fire Press Taylor. If he would have fired Press Taylor, he probably still would have had his job today. Or Press Fire. That's a good name for Press Taylor. Press Fire, because he should get fired because he sucks. I don't think he has a job in the NFL. I'll look that up and post that on the side here. But Press Taylor, he couldn't call a damn game, and our offensive line was shit. We ended up getting back-to-back first-round draft picks, or first picks overall, which is just crazy work. We ended up drafting Trayvon Walker, which was insane, but our offensive line could not protect Trevor Lawrence to save their lives. That man was running for his life. 2002, we managed to scrap away into the playoffs, finishing 9-8, which like I said, that team was okay. Like, I didn't see them making it very far in the playoffs. This team is light years better than them. Trevor Lawrence got hot towards the end of that year, and there was a lot of hope, but 2003 rolled around, and Trevor Lawrence got banged up. Really in 2023 and 2024, he was really banged up, but that's another one of those natural light burps. But cheers. Again, AFC South champs. Fuck you, Texan fans. But if you keep this guy healthy and the offensive line isn't complete dog shit, he's a good quarterback. And now he's scrambling and he's making plays and he's coming into his own. So tying this all together, give the man his flowers. Show him some respect. National media, all you fools that are like the classic office chat or water cooler talk, Trevor Lawrence deserves to be in that conversation as a top 5 quarterback. Like, his stats, his play alone, it has the Jacksonville Jaguars at 13-4. And if this was any other quarterback wearing any other jersey, if he was wearing a Cowboys jersey, if he was wearing a Giants jersey, a nationally recognized brand, a big city team, if he was LA's quarterback, whether it be the Chargers, maybe not the Chargers, no one cares about the Chargers, the Rams. If it was a national brand, people would be giving this guy his flowers. But because we're the Jaguars, we're just going to get shit on. That's fine. We'll get into that later. But I like to talk about quarterbacks, just not about the stats. It's not about the stats. It goes beyond the stats. Any player on any team, any sport, any position that you have in work too, like your workspace, it's beyond just the stats. And we compare our quarterbacks starting with hair. Who has better hair? So here's the hair that they're rocking currently. Trevor Lawrence has kept the same haircut pretty much universally since he's been in high school. Why change it? Why change perfection? Look at those locks. You see that in this picture, the rays coming down, that's not actually lighting from the studio. That's actually just a little halo around his head because he's the Jacksonville Jesus, and that's mostly just radiating from his luscious locks. I've described this man's hair in depth. It's basically like the mane of Seabiscuit. It's luxurious. I don't know why this man doesn't have a Head and Shoulders commercial. Surely their stock would just go through the roof. If he ever does sign with Head and Shoulders, I will actually buy some stock because surely it will go through the roof. Now, this is perfection over here to the right. Now, Josh Allen, I think his hair is a little bit longer this year. I'm not going to say he has bad hair. I would say this is very mid. I would say this is very unkept. If you peeled back some of the layers of it, I know it's kind of like a buffalo haircut, which I like, you know. He looks a little rugged, a little gritty, but surely if you pull back his hair, a squirrel would pop out, sort of like Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon Christmas Vacation, where they pull back the branches of the tree and a squirrel just pops out. Picture that as Josh Allen's hair, that little raggedy mess. You flick that over and just a squirrel pops out. So obviously, I mean, this I shouldn't even put this slide in here because what are we talking about? Why am I wasting a minute of your valuable time? Trevor Lawrence's hair absolutely shits on Josh Allen. So that's a W for Trevor Lawrence. That's 1 to Trevor Lawrence. Better wag. So if you don't know what a wag is, let me get another sip here before I describe this. So a wag. So better wag. So wag is wife and or girlfriend. So I will say we've compared a lot of quarterbacks and a lot of wags. Of course, these wags aren't as good as my wife, aren't as hot as my wife, aren't as sweet, aren't as nice. But of course, there's levels to it. And we have to start with Trevor Lawrence. Marissa Lawrence has been dominating the wag list. She's just Jacksonville, Duvall's, Clay counties, whatever county she goes in, she's the first lady just because she's the wife to Jacksonville Jesus. My wife would be the first lady, but I'm not native to Jacksonville, even though I consider it my home. But Marissa Lawrence is just a badass. She takes care of Trevor Lawrence. She also played college soccer, which I have a lot of respect for. I'm a huge soccer fan. I'm a Real Madrid fan. Unfortunately, they're playing Barcelona on Sunday, and they're probably going to get their ass kicked. But we're not going to get into that. Marissa Lawrence is absolutely a queen. We love her in Jacksonville. Go to the game, Marissa. Let's have you cheering. I hope I get to meet you because I want you to become friends with my wife because you guys would get along together, and then I could be friends with Trevor Lawrence, which would be pretty sick. I'm joking. Am I? But no. And then you have Josh Allen over here to the right. So Josh Allen, his wife is Haley Steinfeld. All right. I'm not going to get too much into this. Congratulations, Josh Allen. I think I'm not going to shit on someone's wife. I think he just recently got married and they're expecting a kid. So congratulations, Mr. Josh Allen. That will certainly change your life. Being a father is certainly life-changing. It definitely gives you a new perspective on life, a lot of joy. It will give you a lot of gray hairs. You better win the Super Bowl this year because, damn, you're not getting any younger, and your life is going to get a lot more stressful. Trevor Lawrence is handling that with grace. He seems like a great dad. But this isn't a comparison of them as fathers. So I'm just going to go ahead and say this. I think she's the most overrated wag that we've had. She's an actress. She's really good in, what was it? It was a movie with the guy from The Big Lebowski. I'm drawing a blank on his name. I'll have to post the movie over here to the right. I honestly can't remember it off the top of my head. It was a Western movie. She was like 14 years old when she did that. And I remember she was a really good actress in that movie. It was a remake. It's at the tip of my tongue. I can't remember it. I'll post it over here to the right. But she was really good in that. But ever since that, her career directory is just taking a nosedive. She was in the movie Sinners this year. She was kind of shit in that. Michael B. Jordan's a dog, great actor. He out acted her pants off, and her pants literally came off in that movie with Michael B. Jordan. So that's crazy work. Dang, I can't remember that movie. You know what? I'm gonna look that up for you guys real quick. Let's take a little break here, and I'm gonna look that up just since it's gonna bother me what that movie was. Bear with me here. All right, we're back. I'm sorry. I had to look that up because it was going to bug me. I do this on the fly. This is unscripted. I usually have a couple beers just so the words flow a little bit. And I also, like I said, I was on a special education level and I had a very bad stuttering problem when I was growing up. So thank you for bearing with me. That was going to bug me the rest of this video, but the movie's True Grit. She was great in that. Josh Allen's wife was absolutely great in that, but I haven't seen her in anything since that. And she was in Sinners. She was garbage in that. That's a great movie, but she was personally trash in that. So I'm giving advantage to Jacksonville Jesus' wife, Miss Marissa Lawrence. She's undefeated this year. She probably won't get dethroned. I doubt it, unless I end up playing in the NFL as a quarterback, which will not happen because I look like Phillip Rivers throwing a football. Actually, I might be able to throw it a little further than him right now. He looks pretty washed, even though he's an all-time great and should be a Hall of Famer, and it's commendable what he's doing. But unless I play in the NFL and then I have to compare Trevor Lawrence's wife to my wife, and I would still make these videos because I'm still a Jags fan, even if I played for another team. But I would have to give my wife the advantage. She's probably the only woman that would, or my wife's probably the only woman that will dethrone Marissa Lawrence. So let's move on to cooler nickname. Who has a cooler nickname? So I've been pretty surprised at these NFL nicknames. Maybe NBA is the only sport that has cool nicknames. Because in the NBA, growing up, there was some pretty righteous nicknames like The Answer for Allen Iverson. Kobe Bryant was the Black Mamba. You had Shaq was Diesel or Superman. Even some of the modern nicknames are pretty cool. Like, not LeBron James, he's a bum. But I'm a Jordan fan. Air Jordan. The modern nicknames like Durantula, that one's pretty sick. But it really surprised me with looking up these quarterbacks this year and their nicknames. None of them compete with what Trevor Lawrence has going on. There's a lot of memes out there of Trevor Lawrence, the steezy Trevor Lawrence, like with the ice and the chain on. And I like that, but to me, he will forever be the savior of this organization, the Jaguars organization. So forever to me, he will be the Jacksonville Jesus. He makes miraculous things happen on the field, which we'll get into his NFL moment, which definitely personified his Jacksonville Jesus persona. Oh, you like that? I used 2 P's right there. Personified his persona. I'm getting good. But cooler nickname. Look at these on the right with Josh Allen. Like, what the hell are we doing here? I'm going to read some of these. Josh Allen's several nicknames with popular ones include the Winter Soldier, the General, Stash Allen, Josh Snow. That's a Game of Thrones take. I mean, Mr. Tuesday. These are... Oh, man. These aren't any good. I don't want to shit on them, like, too bad, but they're ass. Like, I don't have any other words. They're below mid. They're not even good. They're not even creative. Cool. He plays up in the north. He's good in the snow. He has a lot of experience in it. Winter Soldier, that's dumb. The General's dumb. Stash Allen. Did he have a mustache at one time? Big Tortuga. I'm done with these. The cooler nickname goes to Jacksonville Jesus. That's Trevor Lawrence. 3-0 right now. Now, best NFL moment. So, for me, this is real easy with Trevor Lawrence. He's a Jacksonville Jesus. He makes miraculous things happen. His best NFL moment by far was when he, against the Chiefs earlier this year, when he hiked the ball. We were down. We were driving. He hiked the ball. We needed to score. And what's he do? The man falls on his ass, gets back up, falls on his ass again, and then runs it down the Chiefs' throat. That was the beginning of the end of the Chiefs. We don't get any credit for that either. Like, the Chiefs season took a nosedive after they played us. That was another team that, you know, it was what these national media and what everyone does with the Jaguars. They all talk down. They don't think we're any good. And the Chiefs came in probably thinking, you know, we're going to get an easy win against the Jaguars. They're not any good. And we beat their asses. And we basically sent them on their downward trajectory. And that's where Trevor Lawrence, he really started to come up and thrive, you know. And that's his NFL moment. I call it the immaculate stumble. Falling on your ass twice, getting up and scoring against the Chiefs. Now, Josh Allen is an incredible quarterback. But his NFL moment, I would say what he's most famous for right now is losing to the Chiefs. That's why there's so much pressure on this guy this year, because the Chiefs aren't in the way. He's still going to have to win a lot of road games to make it to the Super Bowl, to win a Super Bowl. Just to make it there, he's going to have to win 3 road games. And whoever the hell they're playing in the NFC is going to be pretty damn good, because let's be for real. These NFC teams are one of these NFC teams is probably going to win the Super Bowl. I have not claimed that the Jaguars are going to win the Super Bowl. I want everyone to know that. I'm a realist. I want them to win a playoff game. I think they're competitive in the AFC, but I think any team that comes out of the AFC is going to get their asses kicked by the NFC team. But these announcers are just acting like it's going to be a cakewalk for Josh Allen. And that's because there's no Chiefs. His most famous moments are losing to the Chiefs. He lost to the Chiefs in the 2025 AFC Championship game. He lost to the Chiefs in the 2024 AFC Divisional Playoff game. And I would argue that these Buffalo Bills teams from 2025 and 2024 were better than what they have right now. Like, this Chiefs team is a 7th seed. Like, they're the last seed. They're the last wild card team, you know, to make the playoffs. Now, I would argue, you know, they played in a tough division. The Patriots were pretty damn good. The Bills have still won a lot of games, but this isn't Josh Allen's best team. Unless this guy just absolutely does something amazing, which I certainly don't want the Bills to beat the Jaguars, but let's say hypothetically they do. I'll root for this man. I have nothing against Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a good dude. Buffalo is a good organization. Their fans are a bit crazy. I'm worried as hell to deal with those guys on Sunday. I hope they're nice people. They can't be any worse than Texans fans. But I wish Josh Allen the best of luck, but if they beat the Jags, but they're going to have a hell of a time. And I'll get into that in a moment. But summing this all up, who has the better NFL moment? That's easy. It's the Jacksonville Jesus. And it's not even close. All right. So final verdict. So my final verdict is who has the edge in this matchup? And the final verdict is Josh Allen has the edge if it snows in Jacksonville. He's a great quarterback, and I give him the edge if it snows in Jacksonville. But at the end of the day, this is the house that Jacksonville Jesus built. TIAA Bank is our stadium. This is his Coliseum. This is where him and his little apostles, we'll call them, Rome. We got Parker Washington. They sure as hell better cover that guy because Trevor Lawrence will throw it to him all day. We got BTJ. He can still go deep. We got Jacoby Meyer. We got Brenton Strange. Trevor Lawrence has better weapons, and he sure as hell can thrive in that stadium. This is a home game for us. We have not lost at home, I don't think, this year. I'll have to go back. I've been to a lot of Jags games. They won all their home games. We don't lose at home this season. This is our house. I will give Josh Allen the edge if it snows in Jacksonville. That's my final verdict. Till then, I'm giving it to the Jacksonville Jesus. He's on a heater right now. He's playing better than any other quarterback the last 7-8 games of the season. He's up there with the best of them. So my final verdict is Trevor Lawrence, better hair, better wag, cooler nickname, better NFL moment. We're playing at home. If it doesn't snow, advantage Jacksonville Jesus. Good luck, Josh Allen. All right, so let's move into the game prediction. I've talked a lot in this video. I tend to ramble. Now, I believe that this game is really going to end up like the plot of Back to the Future. So bear with me on this one. I'm still on one beer, which isn't bad for me. All right, I stopped the video because I found my Lucy. Oh, it's been a Marlboro Red type of week. It's been a tough one. But let's go over the game prediction. So here's what I think is going to happen. So if you haven't seen the plot of Back to the Future, I'll give you just a little brief synopsis, and I think this is going to take place on the football field. It's about this dude. His name is Marty McFly. He somehow, I don't remember the whole plot of it. I'm going to butcher this. It's about this dude. He's a teenager. He's cool. The actor is Michael J. Fox. God, he's had a tough life. He has Parkinson's disease. He has the shakes real bad. He's kind of like me if I don't eat a cheeseburger at least once a day. I get real shaky. I hope Michael J. Fox and I hope all those struggling with Parkinson's get the treatment that they need. And I wouldn't want to joke. I'm not joking around about that. But Michael J. Fox, for some reason, he goes back in time from like the 1980s with this car that goes like, you have to get up to 80 miles per hour. He goes back in time to like help his dad out. Like basically he will be erased if his dad doesn't end up hooking up with his mom. Like Marty McFly will get erased from time. So his whole goal is to essentially go back to the future to help his dad out, to basically hook up with his mom. Now that sounds like a crazy plot, and you're like, what's this have anything to do with football? And the major problem that Marty McFly encounters is his dad doesn't get any respect. His dad's name is George McFly. And think about George McFly in this scenario as Trevor Lawrence. This guy gets no respect, just like George McFly doesn't get any respect in Back to the Future. No matter how hard George McFly tries, or no matter how hard Trevor Lawrence tries, the man just won't get any respect from anyone. National media, there goes my sig again. We'll let that on the floor. National media, from fans that are outside of Jacksonville, no one respects this man. And then the major problem in Back to the Future, and the biggest threat to basically hooking up George McFly with Marty McFly's mom, is you have this dude Biff. Biff is like your typical asshole. He's like the one that everyone loves. He's the popular dude. He's like the big stout dude. Think about media's, everyone in high school's darling. Everyone loves Biff, but he's a bit of a bully. Think about that as Josh Allen. Josh Allen in this scenario is Biff. Biff's a prick. In about 10 years, no one's going to like this guy. Now, I'm not comparing their personalities. I'm sure Josh Allen is a nice dude, but in this scenario, he's Biff. Everyone loves Biff. Everyone wants to see Biff win. Just like everyone wants to see the Buffalo Bills win. Everyone's underestimating Trevor Lawrence, who's George McFly, and everyone loves Biff. And Biff is the biggest threat to the existence in this scenario. And I know I'm going in circles here. He's the biggest threat to Michael J. Fox's character for getting his dad to hook up with his mom. Now, weirdly enough, in this movie, Marty McFly, so Michael J. Fox's character, now almost accidentally ends up hooking up with his mom. Now, this is a PG-13 to an R-rated channel. I'm not going to get into that. That movie goes off the rails a little bit. There's none of that in this scenario going on Sunday. But what's happening is Biff's a bully. He's picking on
you had sex with your own
Marty
mother?
McFly.
She was throwing herself
Everyone's picking on Trevor Lawrence. And you can see in this picture over here to the right, there he is. He's giving him a noogie. Everyone's giving Jaguars. Everyone's giving Jaguar fans. Everyone's giving Trevor Lawrence a big noogie. No one's giving us any respect. No one thinks we're going to win this game. Turn on the TV. Watch it. Everyone thinks that we're going to lose. But then something just in Mr. George McFly, with a little bit of help from his son going back to the future. And we'll consider in this scenario, you know what? We're going to consider Marty McFly, Liam Cohen. He went back to the future with Trevor Lawrence. He saw the potential that Trevor Lawrence had. He just had to help him out a little bit. And that's what Marty McFly did to George McFly in this movie. He just helped him out a little bit. And that's what Liam Cohen did to Trevor Lawrence. He just helped him out a little bit. And eventually, you know what you have to do to a bully? Just like what Trevor Lawrence is going to do on Sunday, is eventually you have to just curl up your fist and just punch them right in the fucking face. And that's what's going to happen on Sunday. Jacksonville as a team, Trevor Lawrence as a player, we're just sick of bullies. We're sick of getting picked on. We're sick of getting no respect. And after a while, you just have to ball your fist up and theoretically punch them right in the face. And that's what we're going to do on Sunday. We're going to punch the Bills right in the fucking face. We're going to punch the national media in the face. We get no damn respect. And we're going to take it on Sunday. We're going to pop open a beer. We're just going to ball up our fist and punch them in the face. And then afterwards, we're going to wiggle our finger at them. And we're going to, you know what we're going to say? We're going to say, we told you so. And then moving on to the next round, we're not going to get any respect again. I hope these teams come in not ready. I don't even have these dudes pictured on here, but we have Devin Lloyd. We have Josh Hines-Allen. Both those guys, it wouldn't surprise me if those two were on steroids. They're sauced out of their mind. I love it. I will personally get them gear if they need it. If they need extra gear this week to tackle Josh Allen's big ass and to defeat the bully, let's do it. I'm all for it. Whatever you guys need, hit me up. I've said this in past videos. I've reached out. Thank you for my loyal 26 subscribers. Please like and subscribe. But I've been begging Travis Hunter to hit me up. I will personally donate my LCL. We can go to Oakleaf Medical Center. We don't even have to do it on the books. I just need to be able to like jog a little bit for my job, but I can literally donate my LCL. We can do it in a back alley. I'll rip out my LCL. I don't even know what it is. I'm not a doctor. Thank God. I wasn't bestowed that ability to treat people. That'd be scary. But let's rip out my LCL and give it to Travis Hunter so he can play. God, I wish we had that guy. I will donate that to Travis Hunter, but whatever you guys need, if it's just me cheering in the stands, let's do that on Sunday and let's kick the Bills' ass. So my final verdict. So will the Jags win? Let's go back here. Will the Jags win? Goddamn right they will. Jaguars must eat and buffaloes taste yummy. I did a little bit of research and I actually Googled, has a Jaguar ever ate a buffalo? And it actually has. A traditional buffalo, a bison, American buffalo. So in South America, they actually tried to introduce, this is true. I'm not making this up. I am a little buzzed, but I'm not making this up. They tried introducing wild buffaloes, like North American wild buffaloes to South America to try to like boost their population. And you know what happened? They got picked off by fucking Jaguars. And that's what's going to happen on Sunday. There's a picture. See, they should have, and two, these scientists are dumb as hell. Like, they could have paid me as a consul, and I could have told them that was a bad idea, because Jaguars take down water buffaloes. Those are essentially the same as buffaloes, and it's the same as buffalo bills. If a buffalo gets around a Jaguar, it gets eaten. I could have been a consultant and told them that's a very bite idea. Unless you get rid of the Jaguar population, it's not going to go well. Jaguars have the largest bite force. And by bite force, I mean the defense, too. We are going to bite in to the Bills. The Jaguars have the largest bite force of any cat in the wildlife kingdom. Stronger bite force than tigers, stronger bite force than panthers. They're the most deadly cat on the planet, and it's not even close. Like, there's an article of someone surviving a panther attack, like the impotent Carolina Panthers. We beat their ass. Someone survived a panther attack because a water bottle was inserted into the panther's mouth. They are not a threatening animal. Jaguars sure as hell are. You never hear about people surviving jaguar attacks, and you sure as hell don't hear about a buffalo surviving a jaguar attack, because they just come out of fucking nowhere, like we're going to do on Sunday. I'm getting off in a rant, but the Jags are going to win. I think the final score is going to be 31-28. It'll be close. Maybe Cam Little, our kicker, who also doesn't get any respect. He's the best kicker in the NFL. This dude has set 2 NFL records this year. He's missed 2 field goals all year. Couldn't even make a Pro Bowl. He's hit a 70-yard field goal and a 67-yard field goal. He set the indoor record for the... I guess there's more than one record. There's an indoor record for longest field goal. He has that. There's an outdoor record for the longest field goal. He has that. Once again, no respect. I should change this slide to we're going to get some respect. But it's crazy. No one gives this team respect. I think Cam Little will hit some type of game-winning field goal. And apparently the Buffalo Bills kicking situation isn't very good either. So that's another advantage that we have. But overall, I'm going with the Jaguars. I just think this team is too good. And they're at home to not win this football game. It would be disappointing in my eyes because we are way better than the 2022 team, which ended up winning a playoff game. I think this team will at least win one playoff game, and that would be really justified for the type of season that we had. And this is Liam Cohen's first year. Once again, that guy's not getting any respect. Everyone's talking about the Patriots coach. Everyone's talking about Ben Johnson being the coach of the year. Liam Cohen, no respect. No one on this team gets respect. No, and Jaguar fans don't get respect, but we're sure as hell going to take it on Sunday. So my final slide that I'll leave you guys with is what will happen with my Buckman Bridge watch. What will be the likelihood that I jump off the Buckman Bridge after the Jaguars game if we lose? So there's been many Jaguars games. I've been going to games since 2018. There's been a lot of losing. I've gone home sad and hungover or sunburnt or a combination of all those at these games. And when we're coming back home from picking up my son, which is on the other side of this bridge, I sometimes just tell my wife to pull over the car and I just say, fuck it. Today's the day. I'm over this shit. I'm tired of watching this team. I will say, in the mortal words of Kevin McAllister, I'll be fine. Like that scene in Home Alone where they just asked Kevin McAllister, which was Macaulay Culkin was the actor. They asked him, he was at the register, and they asked him, like, are you okay, kid? And he said, I'll be fine. That's going to be me. I'm not going to get too upset if we lose this game. It surely will be disappointing. I think this team deserves a win. We just have a lot of weapons that I think no one gives us credit for. At the end of the day, we have a better squad on offense. I'll get into my final rant about why I think we're going to win this game overall. And I'll end it there because I know this is getting very lengthy and I'm going on and on. Thank you if you're still watching. Please like and subscribe. These videos take a while to make and edit. So I really appreciate, all you guys watching. But my final reasons why I think we're going to win this game. Our offense has so many weapons. I don't even know the wide receivers on the Bills. Keon Coleman, he's a bum. I don't know their other wide receivers, and I'm not like a analyst by any means. They got a bunch of bums at wide receivers. James Cook's a very good running back. I had him on my fantasy team. Shout out to you for keeping me alive. But our run defense is pretty damn good, and we have a lot of weapons for Trevor Lawrence to throw to. We have Mr. Reliable, Jacoby Myers. We have Brenton Strange, who's Mr. Reliable. We have Parker Washington, who's one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Watch that guy play. He's going to turn some heads on Sunday. That guy is just like a crazy play waiting to happen as a wide receiver and a punt returner. And then we have Travis Etienne, who's a pretty damn good running back. I would definitely give us the advantage on offense. We have way more weapons. Josh Allen is Superman. He's a great quarterback. No disrespect to him, but we just have a better team, and Trevor Lawrence is playing lights out. On the defensive side of the ball, we are amazing at shutting down the run. That is our bread and butter. We will give up some points, and I really hope our defense doesn't come out sleepwalking, because we tend to do that at the beginning of games way too much. We just let them, in the very first possession, score. I really hope that doesn't happen on Sunday, because the Buffalo Bills are definitely a second half team. If you look at the stats, I heard this on the radio that they outscore their opponents something by like over 100 points in the second half, but they don't put up a lot of points in the first half. So we need to pounce on them early. Defense, come out hot. We have some studs on defense, especially at stopping the run. Trayvon Walker, Aluakon, our linebacker, is a tackling machine. Devin Lloyd, that guy doesn't get enough credit. He's one of the best linebackers in the league. He also has like 4 or 5 interceptions as a linebacker. We have a very underrated secondary. Jarian Jones is playing some of his best football. He's always good for an interception. I could go on. We have some absolute studs back there. We don't get enough credit. And I'll leave it at that. And we sure as hell have an advantage at the kicker position. And we're playing at home. Jacksonville fans, please get out there at the bank. Let's not let the Bills fans overrun the place. I want everyone to be safe. Have a good time there. I will be playfully bantering with the Buffalo Bills fans. I hope you all have a great time at the bank. If you need any help while you're there, please hit me up. I'm very friendly to opposing fans. I'm very respectful. I just hope everyone's safe. Everyone, after we're coming down on these holidays, continue to love each other. I'm getting off into a tangent. Continue to spread the love. There's no hate in that stadium. I don't have any hate towards opposing fans, except if you're a Texans fan. God bless y'all. Thanks for watching this video. Go Jags. And Mr. Liam Cohen, please take us out.
Jacksonville, the community, Duval. How do we do this together?